What's good with y'all boys? It's Ricey and we back with another video, and for today's video I'm coming back with another Iron Fist god, chat. I'm dropping another one of these after the buffs because I feel like his playstyle has definitely changed up a little bit, and I haven't dropped a new Iron Fist guide since he kind of became like a frontline brawler type of hero. But I do want to say these buffs did change his playstyle up a little bit, not too much. He still is a dive hero, but now we have the ability to brawl and kind of just kill tanks really fast. But yeah, in this video I'm gonna go over all the techs that I know of Iron Fist. So if you've watched any of my other guides, you probably know what's gonna happen in this video, but this is for the people who are just trying to learn Iron Fist for the first time and don't really know about the techs. But yeah, if you do enjoy this type of content and you want more educational content from me, make sure to like the video and also subscribe. We're on the road to 50,000 subscribers, and every like and sub helps with that goal. Also join up in the Discord if you have any extra questions for me. And yeah, let's get right into the video, man. All right, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna skip all the like basic knowledge of Iron Fist because he's been out for basically 4 seasons now, so everybody knows how to play him normally. But I'm just gonna go over every single ability and try and show off all the techs that I know for all of the abilities. So to start off, we're gonna do Iron Fist jump / punch tech. These are very important for building your block and just for knowing the range of Iron Fist, because it's very important to know that on this hero. And as you can see here, Iron Fist normal range is around 5 to 6 meters, so that's the range around where you get this yellow dot here, and that's just the range of his punches. Mind you, that is the maximum range. But if you back up and you don't see the yellow dot and you end up jumping, you actually get that yellow dot again, and you can increase it by around like 2 to 3 meters. As you can see here, I'm at around 10 meters, and now if I jump, it gets like a faint yellow dot, but I can still track them from almost double the distance just by pressing jump. Something that's also interesting to know about this tech is it doesn't actually work with his right click. It only works with his normal punches. But as you see here, if I press right click, the range is around 10 meters. But if I back up and try to jump, it actually doesn't increase the range because you're just way too far. So the max range for Iron Fist punches are around just 10 meters, no matter which form you're in. And the reason I tell you about this tech is because it's essential to learning how to build Iron Fist block off of cooldown. Because if you use your jumps and you back up exactly like this and you kind of just juggle, you'll end up building your block extremely safely, and you basically won't ever be one tapped if you're doing your tech like that. So what I would say is just go into practice range and practice like juggling like this. But you got to remember, you only get 3 jumps, so try to use it as well as possible. But you will see me use this tech a lot within my games, especially when there's just a lot of damage in the front line. And it's just way easier to brawl tanks in that way. I also see a lot of people complain about the fact that he can't take too much damage in the front line, because like of course he does no damage with his left clicks, and it's kind of really slow to build block. So that tech right there just kind of helps with the fact that Iron Fist is a little weak in the front line. All right, and the next thing I want to talk about is Iron Fist block. This is Iron Fist's most important ability in his kit, because of course you can block up to 475 overhealth. As you can see here, I'm at 475, but it's really important to note that whenever you're in this green state, as you can see around my Iron Fist, you actually take a 30% damage reduction, and of course you deal more damage to tanks. And this tank busting form actually kills faster than Wolverine does. It's just about 1 second faster than Wolverine. And if you want to check out the damage, I actually made a video on it to showcase how different the damage numbers are between Wolverine and Iron Fist. The link for that video will be in the comments. But basically with that information, all I'm telling you is you should never be outside of this form, because just having that 30% damage reduction and also that percent damage on tanks just makes this character so extremely broken. And then on top of that, while also in this form, you can actually fly. And I've seen a lot of people complain about this tech, but honestly it's still a really good tech and it's extremely useful. The flying tech actually lets you get out of certain earthbound effects as well, if you didn't know. And there's 3 characters that have earthbound in this game. It's Thing, Bucky, and now Mr. Fantastic. But in my opinion, the most important earthbound is Thing, because with Things you can literally just fly out of the earthbound with that ability. But with Bucky and Mr. Fantastic, you can't really fly out of it because their earthbound is on just a way shorter cooldown. But yeah, still just knowing that tech is really important for when things either try and counter you by swapping to Thing or just trying to earthbound you whenever you dive in. So yeah, make sure you try and perfect your flight mechanics. Also, a really good way to make the flight feel way less clunky is by using it and pressing your double jumps as well. So you gain a lot more height and you travel a little bit faster. But of course, if you only have 3 jumps like normal, you can't fly as much, but you can still climb very high, as you see here. But yeah, like I said, just always try and stay in your empowered form because you do more damage, you take less damage, you can fly, and it'll just help you get out of way more situations and just die way less often. But also make sure you combo that juggle tech that I just showed you so you can stay in that form as much as possible. Alright, now we get into the Iron Fist kick. And I'm not gonna lie, there's no really new techs that I found with Iron Fist kick other than the ones that's been here since season 0. But a pretty interesting tech is whenever you're kicking, I see a lot of people end up missing their kicks. And then they come in my chat and complain and say, oh yeah, I'm missing my kicks. Is there any tips that you can give me to help me hit my kicks more? And the only thing I can really say truly is try to aim to the right or the left side of the character just so you're able to hit the full length of the kick, something like that. It doesn't really matter exactly where you aim, but I like to try and aim in front of wherever they're moving. So you see the bot is moving right, I will point to the right and I'll try and hit my kick that way, just kind of pointing forward of their character just so I can hit the full kick. But you got to be careful because if you aim too far forward, you'll just completely miss the kick like that. But also a good thing to know is if you miss the kick, you can also just turn around and look at your target and end up hitting the last part of the kick. This also works with the first part, but you got to be a little quicker and it kind of bugs out. But as you see there, I'm looking at the target and the kick ends up hitting. So always know that the kick is always the front of your hitbox. It's not the sides, it's not behind, it's always the front. Alright, and another mini tech that I have with the Iron Fist kick is that if you look straight down, you'll actually go nowhere with your kick. So it's a lot easier to hit targets when you're in your ultimate and when you really need to hit that kick to just look down if they're right in front of you and you'll end up hitting them. But with this like mini tech, it's very important that you're aiming towards your target because if you're not, you'll just miss like that or you'll just hit the end of the kick like I did there and you won't get the full damage. That mini tech also works towards another big tech with Iron Fist, and this is the best way to like escape spawn or just escape a really bad situation, and that's by B-hopping. But as you see there, if you just look straight up, you actually gain so much more height and you get so much more distance by just looking upwards. And then as soon as you land, if you don't double jump like I did there, you'll end up doing like a bunny hop, which can take you like very far. I'm pretty sure you can do like a consecutive 3 bunny hops in a row if you don't end up accidentally double jumping. But in my opinion, as you can see, I'm trying it back to back and I'm still struggling a little bit with it. But yeah, if you aim straight up in the sky, you'll get a lot more distance and you'll be able to bunny hop exactly how I did there. You just have to time it perfectly. Alright, and now we go on to Iron Fist's final ability, his self-heal ability. As we all know, Iron Fist's self-heal ability actually gives him around 100 overhealth, which is the cap on the overhealth. And that's also the cap on the overhealth towards teammates. So as you can see here, Luna Snow has around 375 HP. This ability is also really good as well, is because if you heal normal HP, you will gain ult charge. And as you see here, I'm healing 2 bots and I went from around 23% to around 33% ult charge just using my E ability. And if you were to catch more teammates in that, more than 2 teammates in that, I'm pretty sure you would end up gaining more ult charge. So if you were to back up and end up healing your entire team, I'm pretty sure you could gain around 20 to 25% ult charge just by pressing E on your teammates. So using Iron Fist E to the best of its abilities is very important because you can end up saving your teammates and end up building your ult charge faster than you would normally just by punching a normal person. And it's way more safer and it's actually providing just a little bit more sustain for your teammates. So I also never really understood why people thought this teammate was bad. I do think it fits the character extremely well. It's just a little weird that a DPS is healing. So I kind of understand where people are coming from. Another really important thing about the E ability is this ability can actually stop your normal movement. So let's say you're in the front line and you were punching people and you got really low and you decided to kick away. If you wanted to land directly on top of your team and instantly start healing in a safe place, you could instantly stop your shifts cooldown and start healing your team instantly. If you ever watch my streams, you'll see me do this tech a lot because you never want to just like waste time when using the heal, especially if you really need to save a support. You could just kick behind to your backline, instantly press E and start healing your support instantly or whoever is low. Another really good thing to note is that if you use your double jumps while in the middle of your kick, it will actually cancel your kick as you see there. And that's a great way to bait healers into making it look like you're leaving the fight, but you're actually going right back in. I haven't been doing this tech for a while, so I don't know if it's 100% right, but this is also just really good just for baiting out cooldowns and to make it look like you're leaving the fight, just to bait out healers from not healing each other anymore. So let's say you do this and then you jump back into the team fight and then you try and kill a support exactly like that because they think that you left the fight. It's really important to try that as much as possible because a lot of people, after they hear the kick, they think, okay, Ironfist just left. Now I can stop healing my other support and I'm gonna go back to healing tanks, but they end up losing a support by thinking you left. All right, and the last tech I have for y'all boys is kind of just like an ultimate tech. This tech is pretty well known. I think it's called the Nug Nug tech. Basically, you just press left click instead of holding it, and then you'll end up giving this little shove to whoever you're on, and as you can see, they get knocked back. This is really good for punching people out of ultimates if they're low HP, and also really good for just keeping people in position, especially if you don't want them to get back to healers, or if you just don't want tanks to walk forward. So yeah, make sure you get that ability down because it's kind of very important into knowing Iron Fist kick, and it might secure you more kills than you think it will. Alright boys, if you think I missed any techs, please let me know in the comments and I will add them in the part 2 of this video if y'all want that. But yeah, now I kind of want to get into a VOD review and kind of explain my playstyle with Iron Fist and how I go from brawling to diving to peeling. Alright chat, I think I found a really good game that kind of explains how the playstyle of Iron Fist works. We ended up going 30-6 this game, and this was actually my rank up game to Celestial 2, which as you can see, I'm Celestial 2, and that is basically the edge of top 500 right now. But yeah, in this game, we ended up banning Hella and Emma, which are pretty much the meta bans for Iron Fist. You just want to get Hella out of the game so you don't have to deal with the Namor team up, and then also you want to get Emma out of the game just so you can brawl in the front line for free without anybody stopping your dive or without you having to leave early. Also, another really good ban is just getting Venom out the game because honestly, Venom is pretty hard to kill on Iron Fist. It's very possible if you're playing perfectly, but it is pretty hard. Alright, as you can see, Celestial 2 game, Celestial 3. We had a pretty stacked game here. Alright, so to start off my games, I like to start off in the spawn room healing just in case I have the team up, so my team walks out with the heal. I also like to start off with brawling first because it kind of shows you whenever you're brawling what the team comp is and how much damage you'll take in the front line. So what I like to do is I like to test the waters out a little bit. You see I walked here and I instantly started blocking. I'm paying attention to my overhealth and I'm waiting to see what happens if I sit in the front line. If I sit in the front line and I take way too much damage, then that is the time where I swap from going in the front line into the back line and I start to dive or I start to peel. So in my opinion, just always start in the front line and see what works for you. So here you see I'm in the front line. I notice they have a bunch of bubbles up. I'm playing a little safe here still. Playing in my back line. Waiting for a peel just to see if anything comes back here. Looking at the off angle. Stopping the off angles. I go back into the front line. And now that I see that they're getting low and they're backing up. Now I notice that front lining here is the most important thing for me to do here. That is probably the only time you would keep front lining is if you start to realize that they're backing up. Here they're using all of their cooldowns and then they end up still backing up. We get a pick. I'm still frontlining, but here this is when I move on to the back line. And I honestly see a lot of people ask questions about this. So in a situation like this, right, honestly this probably wasn't the play, but I like to always go from punching the front line. And if I see a healer literally right next to the front line, I would rather go to the healer than the frontline target. Because one, the healer could just out heal all of your damage no matter what you're doing to the front line. And then he can just keep backing up forever and it would farm up the support ults. So instead of just sitting on top of that mag who's low, I would rather just go for the rocket and try to kill him faster than I can kill the mag. Because then the rocket is going to have to run away, back up, and just pray to God that he doesn't die. But you see here, the blade follows me. I tell my team to target the blade. We ended up killing that. And because I played that perfectly and sat in the front line and pushed them backwards, we ended up winning the team fight. Alright, here I'm just staying on cart just so we can have 3 people on cart. We end up storm ulting. I instantly go to the Thor. Unfortunately, both tanks peeled for me and I ended up dying for that. But still, that is a really good thing to do. Because I ended up backing the Thor and the Hulk back just to peel for me. And also that shows me going into the next fight that I probably shouldn't be frontlining anymore because both of the tanks are going to be focusing. So as you see here, I'm trying to get as further into the backline as possible instead of trying to go on the front line. I end up dying for it because I ended up hitting the blade ult. But in the next fight, I realized that they're on triple tank now. So in Iron Fist comps, into triple. The Iron Fist still burns. Strong. So after that death, they actually went into triple tank comp. And Iron Fist eats into triple tank comp. So don't be scared to play Iron Fist into a triple tank comp. It's basically like playing a Wolverine into a triple tank comp. You just gotta be careful and actually just dive the healers instead of diving the triple tanks, because honestly you'll probably die way faster if you're on the tanks here and you're just feeding the support ult. As you see here, they build up support ults. I try and break the rocket. I think I ended up dying here actually, or maybe not. Okay, Hulk peeled for me, ended up going back to my team. I see Blade is low. I'm realizing that okay, maybe I shouldn't be on the tanks. Now I need to go into the backline, and because I do that, they're not expecting it. They don't heal the dagger, and I end up getting the kill on the dagger. I chase the rocket down instead of the triple tanks. And then I end up securing the kill on the rocket as well. And then now I go on whoever is low on the tanks. And that's kind of what you have to do on Iron Fist. Since this character can literally do everything, you have to make sure you're doing everything. And that's also why I see a lot of people think this character is like really bad, is because they don't understand the fact that you literally have to do everything to make this character work. You have to dive, you have to peel, and you have to bully tanks. But as you see here, I'm literally just trying to build my ult as fast as possible. I see that they ult the backline, so I'm like, okay, I don't need to go to the backline. And I start focusing the tanks again. End up here, I'm trying to look for the lowest tank possible. End up seeing the Thor is extremely 1. He's about to get out. I gotta focus him, kill him. And then I'm going for the Strange next, but I end up dying for it. We actually ended up capping the point within that fight, so that was actually pretty good for us. This Hulk is overextending, so we're just chasing him down, trying to kill him. And then we're going on to the next fight. I think here in comms, I was telling my team to like hold close, or hold close as possible, because it kind of took us a really long time to get that fight over with. But you gotta be careful with Iron Fist here, because this is a really hard point. Whenever they can see your every move, it's very important to like make calculated decisions. And you see here, the entire team is extremely grouped up. So instead, what I'm doing is I'm just poking at the tanks, just trying to get somebody as low as possible and trying to make them waste their cooldowns. I end up blocking, and then I try to walk in with ult here, I'm pretty sure. End up ulting in the backline. They use their support ults. We use Star-Lord ult. We kill the rocket. And this is overall just a good ult. Even if I don't end up getting a kill, I think I actually killed the Sue here, actually. But that was just overall a good ult because we forced the support ult and we actually killed both of the supports. End up killing the Thor here. And now this is when the other team makes swaps on the tanks that they're playing. So now instead of playing triple tank here, I'm pretty sure they swapped to another DPS, I'm pretty sure. Actually, looks like they're still staying on it, which is very weird. I'm pretty sure I was saying that like mid-game as well. And also, Shawty Bao, I don't know this guy, but he tried to Iron Fist hit me here, which is very interesting. Here they use Suo, and I think this is when I start trying to like flank and peel for the Iron Fist just a little bit more. Still not focusing tanks, because if I focus tanks here, of course it would just feed the support ults. So I try and kill supports first, and then I start focusing tanks. But because I wasn't peeling for this Iron Fist, he actually killed my support. But it looks like we're still good here. Yeah, we're still good here. But just in case, if that was a good Iron Fist, like an actual like compy Iron Fist, that Iron Fist would have most likely like killed my entire team there, and we would have lost the team fight. It looks like we're actually still losing this team fight here. I'm getting close to my Iron Fist ult, so I'm trying to play a little bit safe. I have my block here. I know that I have the 30% from my block, so I instantly ult, Even though I'm low HP, it's still okay because I still have this mini little timer here that basically says that I have 30% damage reduction. So I ult here, I kill point, end up killing the Thor, he gets out. Actually, no, we kill him. And I'm pretty sure this is when they start making swaps. Yeah, as you can see here, now they're on Strange Thor, and they also have Bucky Ironfist. So this is going to be just a little bit harder for me. But now this means that I can actually sit in the front line, and I can most likely deal as much damage as possible as an Ironfist. Alright, so here I started off flanking. In my opinion, this is not a good play because my front line is kind of getting rolled here. But I do end up making 4 turnarounds to try and stop me here. As you can see, both supports and both DPS. But my Groot ends up like choking his ult. And I don't know what really happened here because there was 4 looking at me. So I don't know what he was ulting. Oh, I guess he just hit the shield, unfortunately. But yeah, that was honestly probably a really good engage if our Groot was able to like hit his ultimate, or if he just waited. We ended up going into the backline. They ended up dagger ulting, and then my Strange wasted his ult. So that's both of our tank ults basically going instantly, and now we kind of just lose the fight. Going into the next fight, we kind of got to make a really big play here. Just because we wasted both of our tank ults, there's not really much we can do. All we have is our support ults. And then my supports both get fucking slammed on by their Strange, and we end up losing the match because of that. Or we end up losing the round, actually. Not the match, I'm sorry. Alright, chat. And going on to defense. In my opinion, brawling is way more important than diving on defense with Iron Fist. This is the time where the 2 playstyles you should be paying attention to is peeling and stopping the front line. So brawling. So peeling and stopping the front line are the main 2 things you should be doing here on defense. As you can see here, I'm just sitting in front of their tanks, trying to stop their tanks as much as possible. Still sitting here. I end up trying to like stop the DPS from dumping a bunch of damage into my front line. Their tanks are walking forward, but my front line is falling apart. Here, I'm still just trying to stop the tanks as much as possible. But I think because we have this Angela here, it's extremely hard for my front line to stay up, since it's basically only Strange against Thor and another Strange. But we do end up killing the Strange here, and we end up taking this space. I try to walk a little forward here without dying. I'm using that wind tech as much as possible. And then I see my Angela's getting rolled. She ends up dying. We leave the fight. Now that we're down 1, it's very hard for us to do too much here since our Angela isn't in the fight. So now we're just trying to play safe. My Star-Lord dies. End up getting some ult charge on the Thor. I think I actually go for more ult charge here. Yeah, that was the dumb play. Honestly, a really good thing, especially in a bad situation like this when you have 2 dead. Try not to go into the fight when you have 8 seconds on your block left, because this basically means you need at least 6 hits, which is basically a full combo, or a full combo and 1 extra hit to get your block back. So make sure you have around like 4 seconds or 5 seconds left, or even 6 seconds, just so it takes around like 3 hits to get your block back and you can continue to stay in the fight. Alright, now I see that my team is still being backed up. Now instead of focusing the front line, now I'm going to try and focus the back line and just try to stop them as much as possible. My rocket ult was really bad here. I don't know what he was rocket ulting there. This is very interesting. But I'm pretty sure I ult here to try and touch the point. They end up rocket ulting. I think I tried to break the rocket ult. I'm pretty sure my team C9 here. I don't remember what happened here. I tried and kill something. We got a huge Strange ult, but they just had too much healing, and we ended up just getting off of the point. There was just no point in holding that after that. We used way too many support ults. We used all of our tank ults and a DPS ult. So after that, if we don't kill anything, it's just might as well just back up. Alright, going into the next fight, this is one of the hardest points to hold. Like I said earlier on Iron Fist, it's just really hard to hold this point. I don't understand why it's so hard. But basically, mainly because it's a one-shot, like, a one-way, I mean. So most of the time, most people will just be able to see you. But as you see here, I ended up killing the Strange because my Star-Lord was distracting the backline. Ended up killing both supports, and we win the fight because of that. But like I said, you got to be really careful when playing on this point on Iron Fist. Okay, here you see me sitting on this corner, just waiting for the tanks to walk up. I'm still brawling the tanks, just because I can, and they're not really doing too much to me in the front line. End up going on a DPS, almost die for it, but I end up getting out. Huge rocket out for my rocket here. It's going to be gone instantly, so I'm not instantly committing. That's extremely important to know. That is, if there's a bigger support ult and you use rocket ult, never commit too hard, because if you commit too hard, you'll end up just blowing up like I'm basically about to do here. I end up blocking, I get out, sit on the height. They use rocket ult and they use their other support ult, so that means that this team fight is basically just winnable. And now that I have ultimate, they have no support ults for me. I'm saving for my ultimate. We get a Strange ult, I instantly ult, dead. I try to kill the other support. Mag fucking bubbles me. He kind of runs my block there. And then we just clean up the fight, which is just huge. That was a huge Strange off from that. And it was also really good that I was paying attention to the support ults. And it's really important that you do that in your next matches, because that is basically the only time like Iron Fist ult is really good, is if they have no support ults. So try to always be paying attention to the support ults. Alright, now you see me playing height. I realize that nobody's going height. I end up trying to stop the tanks here. I'm still starting off as Brawl. I noticed that they have Iron Fist. I'm not really caring too bad for him, but I will start peeling for him soon. As you see here, I started peeling for him just a little bit. I realized he started peeling for me. We Star-Lord ults in their backline, so I'm trying to make them split up as much as possible. As you see there, if I actually would have hit that kick, I think I would have killed the dagger. My rocket gives us another really bad rocket ult, and then my support actually dies within her ult, so it's just all bad right now. My Strange hits an insane ult. We kill both supports. That's a, like, third or second insane Strange ult. I end up killing the Thor. We get to the backline. Backline is kind of dead. I kill the Bucky first because he's a squishy, and then I go straight for the Strange, because Strange can basically do nothing against me. Like, there's literally nothing a Strange can do against me other than just die. So here, now they're down 2 coming into this next fight, and there's really not much they can do because they have to touch here. Iron Fist is here. I start peeling for the Iron Fist, trying to make sure he doesn't just instantly go on my backline and one-tap somebody. End up sitting on top of the Strange, blocking, breaking the support ult just so my team can live a little bit longer. Mind you, they are Iron Fist ulting, but because I just traded for that support ult, this is extremely winnable. I end up coming with Iron Fist ult, block, go straight to the supports instead of the tanks, because look, if I would have stayed on top of the supports, I mean the tanks, and just like shot them up there instead of forcing that dagger out, then I would have just basically been feeding their rocket and their dagger ult. So it's really important to be noticing when to like go straight for supports in your ultimate, and instead of going for tanks. So here I end up missing my kick, but I'm still kind of just sitting on top of the supports instead of the tanks. End up going to the Strange. He's 1 HP. Tried to kill him. We end up killing him because of our mag ult. And then I'm just trying to like back people up as much as possible, trying to make them C9. Iron Fist touching the cart. End up getting him off. He's 1 HP, dead, and we win the game. But yeah, that's basically kind of just the way you want to play Iron Fist. You literally, quite literally, have to do everything. You have to peel, you have to dive, you have to brawl. You literally have to do everything on this character to make him work. So stop thinking he's just like this very super duper easy character that you can just hold left click on and win the game. It's not like that. I promise you, it's a lot harder than what it seems. Alright, well, that was enough for this video. I hope y'all did enjoy. I hope y'all learned something as well. If you did learn something, make sure to sub up and also like the video, man. Alright, I love y'all boys. Peace.